else. Okay, still good. I don't know what that was. That boy said it started raining all the minute. All right.
Here you go.
Yes,
Hold
sir.
that inside right there.
Okay.
That way it doesn't get rain on it.
All right.
Look at it real quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna explain it to you. Okay, there's 2 violations. One's gonna be the miles not recorded on those dates that it talks about. All right. And the other one right there, other than the miles, is gonna be your shipping documents numbers. Back on those dates, not recorded. The load for this load as well the last 2 days. Okay.
On what?
On your logs. Yeah, you gotta make sure you input those. There's a couple days where you put NA, so I assume that means you didn't have a load that day. All right, then there's other days a while ago where it doesn't have anything inputted in there. All right, so you have to make sure you have an input there for your shipping documents number, similar to how you have it today. Today you got it correct.
So you couldn't come in and break on that? Something that simple?
No, it's federal guidelines that have to be abided by. So if
Oh man, you crazy, man. That's wild, bro.
Yeah, gotta do my job, right?
Just like that, something that simple, bro. You couldn't come in and break on that, bro. You couldn't come in and break on that.
Hold on just a minute, okay? Let me see that driver's license. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Stand by. I'm gonna go get you another inspection, okay?
Are you?
I'm gonna print another one out.
Ticket because I didn't input the load information on my logs. That's wild. No, man. So we just left court in Alabama. About a year later, and this is what happened. So we walk into court today. I love my hot sauce, y'all, so so I gotta keep it right there because I put it on everything. So we walk into court. Of course, I get there at 7 a.m. Court starts at 9. I want to make sure that I'm the first one to get in, so whatever else I want to do with the rest of my day, I can then do that, for the second time. Every time there, I was number 2, both times. It was just so many weird things that happened. So, and I knew it was the universe sending it to me, but you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, this is the universe sending this to me. I'm gonna handle it accordingly. You know what I mean? Handle it like I expected. You know what I mean? This is what it sent to me. So, I get in court. I get to the courthouse. There's one lady walking in front of me, right? We're there. She's right. I'm talking about just exactly the same as it happened last time. She walks in, and if you want to get to the actual story, just fast forward a little bit. But I just want to tell you my experience on how it was for me. So we get to the courthouse. We're sitting there. People start piling in like they usually do, right? It's always one guy that's going to come there and he's going to be talking super loud, and that's going to be your antagonizer, right? It's always going to be the antagonizer. If you interact with that person 9 times out of 10, he's going to be the one that tries to get, under your skin. You know what I mean? So, I'm so used to seeing these things over and over, so this is kind of what I expected, right? I know it kind of took a left, but I'm still going to take it like right, though. So he's talking the whole time in the corner. Yeah, women love me. Yeah, this, that, and the third. I got all these girls. He's talking to this old lady, and the old lady's just entertaining. She's like, oh, that's so sweet. Do. Oh, they love you. They love you. This, that, and the third. He said, yeah, they think I look like Denzel Washington. Oh, this is like at 7 in the morning, right? So me and the lady are just sitting there, and we're quiet, and it's just like it's 7 in the morning. We're just not waking up, right? But that's the antagonizer. So he walks in to the courthouse. We're sitting. He walks into the courtroom. We're sitting outside of the courtroom, and now all these people are piled up just the same as they did last time. And last time I got there first, that something like that happened again, and it was an old lady once again, and she said, are we supposed to go in the courtroom or something like that? And she's like, I heard someone speak, but I thought it was the like a lieutenant or something like that, saying like, who's what's like, are you guys here for court or something like that? I think that's what she said. Are you guys here for court? And I said, yeah, but I'm first. You know what I mean? Just to make sure that she. I didn't realize who she was, and I looked over and I was like, oh, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were someone else. She was like an old lady with a cane, right? I was like, but you can have my seat, you know what I mean? Because all the seats were taken. So she was like, okay. And she just came there, sat in my seat, and she was just like, you know what I'm saying? She was cool after that. Long story short. So then, I'm talking about like over 100 people came in, right? So, if you go back to my old video where I said the cop was, me and him, he was like, oh, this is what I have, this is what I have, this is what I have. And I said, yes, I understand that's what it shows there, but this is what it shows here. You know what I mean? And he said, I think you need a trial date. And I said, absolutely. You know what I mean? And so this is where we came to today. Long story short. So then, then they told me, okay, go have a seat and wait for, you have to wait for 100 people to get done, and then we'll give you your new court date. Right. So after about an hour, I'm just like, can I just not get a new court date for a trial? And you know what I mean? And she's like, yes, here, just, and the office lady who sits next to the judge, she was like, here, just take this and come back on this date. I was like, okay, cool. So we get back today, and she's like, so we get back today. I'm number 2, right? So we walk in. The guy, the antagonizer, walks into the courtroom, and I'm just like, hey man, there's a lot of people here that've been here since 7 a.m. He's like, so what? I don't got to answer to you. And I said, no, you don't have to answer to me, but I mean, I would think it's common courtesy for you to understand that there are other people here, right? So I understand I'm on camera at this point too, so you know what I mean? There's some other things I may have wanted to say, but I couldn't. You know what I mean? So at that point, he's like, oh, well, I'm just coming in here to sit down. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Just go ahead. Anyway, long story short, so we go into court and sit down, right? And then the DA walks in and he's like, okay, so this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna start a line right here. The district attorney, he comes in later too. He's like, we're gonna start a line right here, and it's gonna go back around the courtroom just like it did last time, right? Except the antagonizer messed up the whole process because he came in and messed up the whole. He instead of the cops coming in and letting us know, hey, this is how we're gonna do it before you even go in the courtroom, he goes into the courtroom and changes the whole process, right? He's causing a disruption the whole time. So we go in. Alright, so then these guys pops in line first, the girl second, me third. She got there before me, right? So I looked at him and I told the girl, I said, you should have went before him because you were here first. And then I looked at him and he said, oh, no, it's okay. We're on camera. Okay. I'm just like, whatever, bro. Alright, that's fine. You know what I mean? I common courtesy would just let you know not to do that, but hey. So, anyway, common courtesy comes in later with him as well. So, he goes through his process. He hears some stuff he doesn't want to hear. Ends up leaving out the courtroom, right? She goes up, I'm third. I walk up. DA is like, okay, got this, that, and the third. I'm like, yeah, but I have all my paperwork here showing that, that I shouldn't have this ticket. He says, okay, we'll just schedule a later court date. I'm like, no, this is the third time that I've came across country to come to this courtroom. I was supposed to have a trial today. He's like, oh, okay, well, you have to go take a seat and, trial is... Okay, so yeah, the antagonizer walks back in, right? sits next to me, and he, says this, that, and the third. And plus I know I gotta wait for, 70, 80 people to go through the court system as well, right? So then the DA stops what he's doing and tells me, hey man, if you want, it's going to be 2 hours. What I would advise you to do is you can wait outside, or you can just, it's going to take an hour, hour and a half. And that's exactly how you do it. You wait outside. So I said, and the clerk lady was just like, yeah, it's going to be like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So you can come back if you want to. I'm like, but they told me to be here at 9. So she's like, yeah, but I know, but we got to take care of this before we can do trial, right? So that's okay. So then I go outside to my truck. And then I think, you know what? I wonder how these folks treat other people. No, I want to go back in there and watch everything. You know what I mean? 'Cause I actually came and watched a murder trial here as well. Last time I came to court, the day before, when which the judge told me, he was like, I think if you show the DA all this information, he'll probably just throw it out. You know what I mean? And I said, okay. And that's not what happened. So that's hard. So anyway, so I'll go back in, right? And now the antagonizer, he's sitting there. Wait, so he must have. So no. Okay, so whenever I sat down, I got up. The DA told me that immediately, right? So I left, came back, and then the antagonizer comes back, and that's when he started like. So now he was just telling me I don't have to listen to a thing you say, but now he's sitting next to me, and BO is out of this world, and he's wanting to now talk to me, get me talking, right? Man, I shouldn't be here. Can't believe this, but they make you go to hell. They make you go through hell just to prove that you're innocent. I'm just like, he said, what are they gonna do for you? I'm in the courtroom, right? So I can't just be like, bro, stop talking to me, bro. You've already shown me the type of person you are. I don't need to see anything else, right? But so, cause I'm in the front row of the courtroom, the DA's right here, the judge is right here, all the cops are sitting right here, right? Like 7 to 8 cops, including the cop that wrote me the ticket. So, long story short, everybody goes through. I asked the district attorney, so how is this process gonna go? He says, well, you're gonna go to trial. So I said, I'm gonna get on the stand. He said, yeah. I said, oh, cool. That would be pretty cool. I've never been on the trial before. I've never been on the stand. And he was just like, and then he like walks over to the cop, and I heard he talked loud, so he made sure that I could hear him, right? He said, yeah, he says he has all this. No, because he walked over to me and he's like, so the cop wrote you this, that, and the third, right? And I said, yes. And he said, so what do you want to do? Why do you want to go to trial for it? I said, because I'm innocent. And he said, he's not just going to write you tickets for no reason. And I said, wow. Yep, that's where he stands. I said, sir, do you think I would have came across country 3 times if I knew that I wasn't innocent? If I knew that I wasn't innocent? He said, I don't know what you would do. And I said, wow. So I said, I have all the evidence right here showing I'm innocent. Then he walks over to the cop. He says, yeah, he says he has all this evidence and this, that, and the third, right? So then he tells the cops something that's done. So the cop was like, okay. He pulls out his computer, and I saw his whole energy change. And that's when I knew he knew, right? So long story short, the judge calls me up, and I didn't even go on style. He just calls me up to the desk, and he's like, okay, so this, that, and the third, right? The cop comes over. I'm like, now I get to finally show him my evidence, right? And I'm like, these are the original tickets he wrote. They dismissed this one immediately and told me I had to come to court for this one. So before I wasn't working for myself then. So immediately once I got a ticket at that point, I had to call my company and let them know what's going on. They checked it immediately and said, he did what? He said what? And they told me, don't worry, we'll handle it. The next morning, this ticket was dismissed, and they told me I had to come to court for this one. He says, Ben actually told the truth on this one. He absolutely did. And he said, what I would advise you to do is get a lawyer, right? So I said, okay, you know what I mean? And the judge is like, okay, so what is this and what is this and what is this? And the cop's like, well, he's just searching through his computer, right? And another cop comes behind him and he's like, okay, you see how his information is right there? He's like, yeah, but it's not there. He's like, it could be in either one. So there it was there. There it was there. He's like, oh. He's like, it was there. So, judge says, okay. I said, Judge, I've lost thousands of dollars because of this. Thousands. He says, I'm sorry. I can only do what I can do. It'll be dismissed. Sincerely, genuinely. Last thing, shout out to Warren Transport for having my back, telling the truth. Shout out Amy from Warren Transport. She'll get on you when you're wrong. When you're right, she had my back. She had my back. So that's how I went, guys. No more tickets. We're in the free.